Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade. Welcome to our weekly webinar, Mapping Out Your Week Ahead. And as the title says, you might guess that it's all about planning your week ahead. And as I like to quote the traders, when they say you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. Few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I've been involved with trading for the past 24 years. The first 11 years, I was a prop trader in New York City, and after that, I moved into a less stressful environment, as I like to call it. And I also started to mentor and educate others, and I've been having this privilege of helping our customers at AvaTrade. Again, also, I apologize for not having the last week's webinar. I was traveling and I was not able to record or do the webinar last week. So now we're back on track again. So what we'll do here, as usual, we talk about indices, stocks, commodities, and FX. We talk about fundamentals and technicals. Risk warning, you can find the full statement at avatrade.com website. And of course, everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades, of course. Social media channels, please join us at Telegram, X, and YouTube, which is my favorite. You can find a lot of educational material, tutorials, webinars are being recorded. You might be actually watching this webinar on YouTube. And if you are, please don't forget to click the likes, only if you like it, of course. Feel free to share it with people that might be benefiting, and subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified for new things coming in. Now, before we go into specifics, just want to share with you what we'll be speaking about today. We'll speak about the markets. We all knew or saw the sell-off on the market on Friday. We'll speak about that. We'll talk about the winners and the losers for the week in commodities and FX. We'll speak about specific companies. We'll look at the companies that are reporting. We're still in the reporting season, so a lot of companies are still reporting for the fourth quarter of last year. And that's it pretty much. So let's start. We all remember the 5th of November when elections were won by Trump. A lot of excitement, markets start running. And these days, as the title here says, Trump's economy now, and businesses are anxious about tariffs and Washington appeal. A lot of uncertainty, as we spoke about it, tariffs, a few times a day, market reacts chaotically to certain speeches or announcements by President Trump. So I guess that's one of the reasons why we had the sell-off on Friday. And according to S&P Global, actually, the level of actually did the survey with the top executives who buy supplies for the service-oriented companies, and it went down from February's 52.8 to 25 months low at 49.7, and that's according by S&P Global. And any reading below 50 signals contraction. And I'm going to quote what S&P Global says. U.S. business activity came close to stalling in February. And I continue the quote. New order growth also weakened sharply, and business expectations for the year ahead slumped amid growing concern and uncertainty related to federal government policies, end of quote. So that's S&P Global. You see it's a lot of concern. The market reacted. We'll take a look at the charts. So I guess that's the whole focus these days. And it reminds us the previous presidency of Trump, when at that time there was a lot of Twitter being used and different announcements up and down on the market. There's some news on cryptocurrencies. On the positive side, we have Kathy Wood saying, she's the president or CEO of the ARK Fund, and she said she's expecting Bitcoin to fly this year, and she's been saying it for a long time. I guess we'll find out. As of now, we know Bitcoin is below 100. Now, the negative side of it, we all heard one of the biggest platforms for cryptocurrencies was hacked, and it looks like they stole 1.4 billion dollars worth of crypto. This is an article on marketwatch.com. It says that it was taken to one account and it was spread to 40 different accounts. So company says no panic. They have funds. People are withdrawing without any delays. But in any event, it doesn't look good. And of course, the cryptocurrency reacted, or currencies plural, reacted to that announcement last week as well. Now, we are lining up for the 19th of March, the next decision by Feds. And as you could see here, as of now, as we speak, it's a 6% probability of another cut. As we know, the Feds are concerned about the inflation levels. They don't give up, and other things, including the tariffs and things to do with the new administration. So that's as far as upcoming interest rate decision in March. Now, economic calendar, before I go into it, important especially for new people to explain what it is. This is public information. You can access it on our web trader or the app, or just Google it. Again, it comes from the same source. You can know it ahead of time. And I think every trader should be aware of these things. What you do with that, it's of course, it's your personal business. You can, some people like to trade announcements, pre-announcements. Others like to wait till things settle and then they make their decision based on what the market is doing. But I think as traders, we should be aware of these things ahead of time. So you don't want to see market moving and charts flying up and down and you're not aware of what's happening and not prepare yourself. So what I do here, take the high impact events only. You can filter, you can choose whatever works or relates to your trading. So let's just go through it. We have federal elections in Germany. We'll speak about it when we talk about DAX. Retail sales in New Zealand coming out later on. Wednesday, we have monthly consumer price index from Australia. GDP numbers from Switzerland, that's Thursday. GDP numbers from US, and Tokyo Consumer Price Index, CPI numbers coming from Japan. We'll take a look at yen. It's been strong this week. Friday, another bunch of German news, retail sales, CPI numbers, GDP numbers from Canada. And this number is important, is being watched by the Feds in the US. Core personal consumption expenditure, that's on Friday as well. And Saturday, we have PMI numbers from China. So again, there's so much more. What I do here, I just take out the high impact events. You can take a look and filter whatever works for you. 10-year yields. We had the last three sessions moving down. We went below 4.5 and getting closer to 4.4. That was the previous support a couple of weeks ago. So let's see how things working out. Normally, when you see these things happening, it would put pressure on US dollar and actually help gold going higher. Sometimes this move would be good for the market, but we all saw the equity market selling on Friday. It was actually a lot of panic there. So that's 10-year yields. Let's see how they act around 4.4. Will we confirm the support and continue higher, or would we break it and establish a new resistance and move lower? We'll find out. Now, as usual, we're showing the winners and the losers. So we'll take a look at them at the chart when we get to the charts. But here are the winners on commodities. Natural gas had a nice run, up 17.6% for the week. Sugar 3.9% higher for the week. Gold 1.7 almost to the upside. On the losing side, we had a huge drop on cocoa, close to 10%. Coffee went down 4.74%, and platinum went down 3.17%. In the forex or currency world, we had strength of yen. So as you could see here, dollar yen lost 2%, pound yen 1.64%, and euro GBP lost 0.75%. We'll take a look at these guys when we get to the charts. Now, earnings. You can take a screenshot or write it down. These are the companies, if you are trading shares or individual shares. We have earnings. The highlight of the week, of course, it's NVIDIA. As until recently, it was leading the market to the upside, all about the AI, as we know. So these are the companies that are reporting this upcoming week. We'll take a look at them again when we get to the charts. But let's just go through the list. Domino's Pizza, Zoom Communication on Monday, Tuesday, Home Depot, Workday reports on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, NVIDIA, eBay, Lowe's, Salesforce, and Thursday, Autodesk, HP, and Discovery by Warner Brothers. So these are the companies reporting the upcoming week. Okay, let's bring up the charts, and we'll start, as usual, we'll start with indices. China, slowly building up some strength after a lot of consolidation here below 13,000. We had a move above the 50-day moving average, hugging now the 100-day moving average. It didn't sell off on Friday. I guess the Chinese market could have been closed already by then. So let's see how it opens up on Monday. Japanese index sold 3 consecutive days to the downside. Of course, global selling happened. We saw selling, not just the US, Germany sold as well. So Japanese index sold. Also, the strength of yen helped it, I think, or pushed it lower here as well. So that's Asia. Now, US, here's the S&P 500. Take a look what a drop it was. And interestingly enough, the first thing I wanted to see, and that's what we spoke about, the excitement of Trump being elected, and now panicky selling with concern over tariffs and different changes that he imposed. So take a look. This is the week after the election, the 5th of November, that's the election. We went up, and take a look. We are actually into that election week. This drop erased the whole February pretty much. We are now at the level of February 9th. So we had the triple top. I think we discussed it. We had the triple top here, and then the sell-off, we did close below 50-day moving average. Also important to realize it wasn't really any reversals towards the end of Friday. Imagine it's Friday, a big sell-off, not really profit taking, not any reversals. So that's a super weak sign. So there's a possibility that we'll continue selling into upcoming week. Of course, we could be seeing some fundamental things that will actually reverse that move, but we'll be following and watching that. On daily chart, we did close below the 50-day moving average, and last time we were below 50-day moving average was the beginning of February. Nasdaq as well, it didn't actually reach the 50-day moving average, so technically it is a little stronger than S&P's, but the drop was very strong, as you could see here. Dow Jones below both 50 and 100 moving average. We did sell. A lot of it to do also was with United Health. We'll take a look at the chart when we get to the stocks. There's an investigation into billing practices of the company to do with diagnosis and medication, so on. So that added, I guess, that downside pressure as well. So US indices erased most of the February gains. Of course, Russell is the small cap sold as well. We came below all the three moving averages, the weakest. Germany had a huge sell-off, as you could see here in the past 3 days, after running non-stop to the upside, just confirming new highs. We had the 3 sessions of sell-off, and of course, they're holding elections today in Germany. I guess we'll hear more about fundamentals and other things that might be affecting the German market. UK FTSE 3 consecutive days to the downside as well, and it's been a while since we actually mentioned the French index. It's been super strong. You remember what the issues with politics and everything else is sold, but since then it's been really strong here, and we had a sell-off on Wednesday, looks like it, but then Thursday and Friday we didn't really break the low of that Wednesday sell-off, so it looks actually strongest from all the indices as of now. So that concludes the indices. We'll move to the individual stocks right now. And we'll start with the big guys, or big boys, or big names, as we call them. And Netflix sold Thursday and Friday. Uber broke that support. Meta, it was the strongest until this past week. We had a red day pretty much every day. And then Friday got more intense. Google's been selling after this gap down. Apple is the only one out of big names, Magnificent Seven, or FANG group that we used to call them. Take a look. It didn't really sell on Friday. Actually, had the whole week in green. Let's take a look. Friday, it might have been closed higher. So the opening price on Friday, 245.81. Yeah, it lost 14 cents. So there's something strong about Apple, and it's important to notice when you have on a sell-off day, a share price for the company is not selling. That shows relative strength. So again, it's not in stone, it's not 100%, but let's say hypothetically, if the market were to reverse to the positive side, the strong stocks like this would actually be the strongest on that day. So we'll be watching that. It could be because of a new phone. I'm just speculating. They just showed or revealed the new phone. They call it budget. It's not so cheap, but it's a new SE without that home button. And maybe that's the exciting point. I'm just speculating here. But in any event, Apple is the only stock out of the major large caps here that it didn't sell. Tesla sold as well. Microsoft sold as well. Now Intel, again, we don't have any solid offers or takeover or buyout or whatever it is. We did have some speculative trades here that moved the stock high. We are above 200 moving average here. Again, there's nothing solid. Maybe this week we'll see some announcements that someone is buying Intel. We'll find out. That's as far as the big guys. Right now, on the strong side, with the sell-off, we actually saw pharmaceutical companies pumping up. We had Johnson & Johnson had a nice move to the upside. If I can just find it. Let's show you Pfizer first. Pfizer as well had a positive week. Here comes Johnson & Johnson, very strong. Lately, as you could see, we are above all moving averages here, and if we continue, we might be testing this resistance here from October 23rd. As you could see, the tech sector is suffering, and the pharmaceuticals are having a little bit of a pop-up here. Now, that's on pharmaceutical. That brings us to Teva Pharmaceutical. You remember the announcement of new medicine, then we went down, and we are consolidating here between $16 and $17. We are below the moving averages here, but let's see if Teva Pharmaceutical manages to recover here. Now, Banks, if you remember, we mentioned banks that were the strongest, pretty much continue making highs. And I think last week I shared with my team that we should be really watching banks, because when they start tipping over, we might see that affecting the market to the downside as well. So Thursday and Friday both we had a big sell-off. This is Goldman Sachs. It's pretty much a big move here from 671 to 625. That's Goldman. JP Morgan as well. Strong sell-off on Thursday and continuation on Friday. Bank of America as well, and Citigroup. So we'll continue watching banks. Will they continue that drop, or will we find support and reverse and continue to the upside? So that's as far as banks. Now UNH, just want to show you that stock. You probably heard, if you are following specific stocks, there was or still is, the Justice Department launched an investigation and about the Medicare billing practices. So let's take a quick look. It's a lot of unfortunate events for this company. If you remember, the CEO got murdered in New York. That was the sell-off here at the company. Then we had seen some recovery, and then when they announced that investigation, there was a huge gap up and a little bit of recovery here. So let's see how that investigation continues and how it will be affecting the price of United Health. Now let's go through the companies that are reporting. As we mentioned, the list that I showed to you a few minutes ago. So we'll start with Domino's Pizza. You could see here the stock's been strong, making the highs here on the 18th of February. Since then, we've been sliding. On Friday, went down with the whole market. It looks healthy here. We are above the 200 moving average and the rest of the averages. Let's see how the earnings will affect the price. Zoom. We all remember Zoom running up when pandemic started, right? All this thing, and then it just went right back. So as of now, we just on Friday we broke below 50-day moving average. Both Domino's Pizza and Zoom Communication, they're reporting on Monday. Now, Tuesday we have Home Depot and Workday. Now again, these are not the only companies that report. There's much more. Just show you this few. Home Depot. Here we go. It looks like we are close to test the support. Also, we are close to 200 moving average here. We had the lower highs here, showing a little bit of a weakness. Let's see how the earnings on Tuesday will affect the price. Next one is Workday. We are sitting between 50 and 100 moving average here. The company is reporting on Tuesday. And of course, Wednesday is the day NVIDIA is reporting, and everybody wants to see what's going on. Here we go. NVIDIA, that was a big sell-off here. We came, I think the trigger of it was the DeepSeek, right? When the Chinese AI announced or launched, and they said that it's much better and requires less resources to run it. That was the initial reaction of NVIDIA. The stock dropped, and take a look. We fully recovered that gap this past week. And then Friday, it went down with the market and sitting right on 50-day moving average. NVIDIA is reporting on Wednesday. We'll see details of the earnings and projections and everything else. We'll see how things will work. And definitely, we might see the NVIDIA's effect on the general market, specifically on the tech stocks or the tech index, NASDAQ. eBay. I remember times where everybody spoke about eBay, but then with Amazon and others, eBay kind of went to the background, but it's still running. Here we go. It looks good. It looks strong. We are above all moving averages. We didn't really see this huge sell-off on Friday with the market. So eBay is reporting on Wednesday as well. Another one reporting is Lowe's. Doesn't look so good. We are below lower lows, lower highs. We are below the 200 moving average here. And let's see how Lowe's reports on Wednesday. Salesforce. Here we go. We're also making a lower highs, and we just made a lower low here. We're between the 100 and the 200 moving average, and the company is reporting on Wednesday as well. Now Thursday we have Autodesk, HP, and Discovery by Warner Brothers. So let's go through Autodesk. We are below 50 and 100, and we could be approaching that support right here, or the previous support. So let's see how report on Thursday will affect HP. Lately, it's been running up. We're facing resistance here, the stick of 100 and 200 moving average here. And the company reports on Thursday as well. And the last one is Discovery by Warner Brothers. And let's take a quick look. We making a higher lows. I just made a higher high here. Friday reacted with the whole market, and the company is reporting on Thursday as well. Okay, so that concludes the individual equities. Now, important to remind us, the banks stalled after being the strongest on the market, and pharmaceuticals gained. And a lot of times when we have a sell-off in the technology, we see pharmaceutical gaining some momentum there. And out of the Magnificent Seven, Apple is the only one that didn't sell. Important to notice that. Okay, moving to commodities. We'll go through the gainers and the losers. We'll start with natural gas. Natural gas had a nice run this past week. We are facing the previous resistance here. So natural gas was up 17.6%. Nice move. Let's see how this week will play for natural gas. Sugar had a nice run as well, up 3.91%. We did break through all moving averages, 50, 200, and 800. And we had pretty much the whole week green candles here. So that's on sugar. If we continue higher, we might see resistance somewhere here when we approach 2185 area right here. Gold. As we know, gold, when the markets are selling, is acting like safe haven. Interestingly enough, Friday it sold actually, but we did have a week that closed at the high. So gold continues to make steadily advancing to the upside, making all-time highs. So gold up 169%. Let's see how this week plays for it. Now, on the losing side, we had cocoa, a huge drop on Friday from 10,000 to 9,000. Pretty much almost 1,000 points move. A huge drop here on cocoa. Again, to remind us, had a big run, pretty much non-stop. Because of the physical shortage of cocoa in West Africa, especially Ivory Coast. Then we had a lot of zigzagging here. We made the all-time high, and now it looks like we're sliding lower here. We are just breaking 100 moving average, and we might continue to retest the 200 right here. So that's cocoa. Coffee as well had a correction here on the weekly chart, down 4.74%, also after a nice run to the upside. Shortage, Brazil and other places that produce coffee here. Another one down is platinum, down more than 3%, 3.17%. You could see platinum is trading in this channel here between 925 and 1044. Been a lot of accumulation here. This is the weekly chart, right? On the daily, we had an attempt to break through the previous high here, and we failed, and we dropped to the downside. We're still above the all moving averages here, so let's see how platinum plays out. Now, of course, we can't miss oil. Interestingly enough, we had a nice 4 session to the upside, hitting 200 moving average, and take a look. One day erased the whole effort of oil to break out of this 200 moving average here. We came right when we started the week, right? If you take a weekly chart, it should be flat right here. Opening price on oil for the week was 70.28 and closing 70.23, down 5 cents. Something's happening, right? We all know it could be geopolitical situation. We're not sure how things will develop with the war, the Middle East, of course, and other things. There were some talks between Russia and US as they're trying to negotiate peace in Ukraine. I ran through some details about Russia possibly allowing US some oil development on Russian territory. I guess we'll hear more things this upcoming week. Nevertheless, 4 days up, 1 day down, erased the whole thing. Now, copper as well. After making this nice run the previous week, this week we've been pretty much down. If you see the weekly chart, it's been a down week, and we closed around the levels of the low of the previous week. So the low here was 453.80, and the low 453.10. Closed below the previous week's low. That concludes the commodities. We'll move to Forex, and we'll start as usual with a dollar index. Dollar index broke through that 107. If you remember, we mentioned in daily chart, we're between 108, 107, been zigzagging, and then we broke through it. We confirmed the resistance. That Thursday sell-off and Friday was a little bit of recovery there. So we are below the 50-day moving average, sitting right on a 100 moving average here. Now, the strongest currency for the week, we can say, was yen. It's been a champion. So you could see dollars sold heavily against the yen, and all major currencies really give away to the yen. Here we go. Aussie, yen, Canadian, Swiss, euro, and pound. So yen has been strong, and as we mentioned, we're gonna just jump briefly. So we mentioned that actually pushed or give more gravity to Japanese index here. So yen has been strong. As we showed on the slides, the dollar yen lost about 2%. Here we go. The pound yen lost, where are you? Here we go. The pound yen lost 1.64%. And euro GBP was the other one that we spoke about. It went down 0.75%. So we'll continue watching, of course. Let's take a look at the majors really quick. Dollar Swiss, it looks like we testing the previous support around these levels. Pound, dollar, we are above 100 and below the 200 moving average here. Euro, we are on the way to kind of enter that 105 territory. We're trying hard here. So we are kind of hugging that 100 moving average here on Euro, USD. USD CAD sold after that huge move when the tariffs were announced, and then it was put on hold. So it was the opposite reaction to the downside. Also was sitting on the 100-day moving average. Because of China trying to recover here, we actually had some healthy upside move on both Australian and New Zealand dollar here, right? Here we go. We are above the 100 moving average on the Australian dollar, and the same pretty much picture on New Zealand dollar. So we should be watching that Chinese index. If we are popping up from here, continuing higher, we should be watching Australian and New Zealand dollar on a possible continuation to the upside. Okay, that's as far as FX. And let's take a quick look at cryptocurrencies. It was a reaction to that announcement of the hacking of one of the big exchanges. Bitcoin is really sitting here around 96,000, jumping up and down, but below that key level or psychological level of 100K. Let's see how that plays out. XRP is holding up as well. We are at 257 now. There are some speculations that we might be hearing some news about ETFs on XRP on the Ripple. Nothing substantial yet. The Ripple is holding here. And Ethereum was the one reacting the most to that hack. Here we go. No, this is not it. Let's take a quick look. When the announcement came, I think it might have been somewhere here. So I guess there's still a threat to that security. $1.4 billion, that's not a small sum, right? So I guess some cryptocurrency owners or holders are concerned about that security. Okay, so that concludes our weekly review. Let's just compile it all together. We spoke about big concern about Trump actions or words or changes, tariffs, etc. We spoke about drop in the purchases of the managers, and the number is concerning. We're below 50, which shows the contraction. We have companies still reporting the fourth quarter. This week, among others, we have NVIDIA that's reporting on Wednesday. We have economic calendar that we spoke about. Please review it, prepare yourself with those events. As far as individual stocks, market sold on Friday. The only one out of big names, Apple, didn't sell, so it shows relative strength. Pharmaceuticals are showing some strength. Banks are selling. And I just wanted to show you one more thing that I forgot. I mentioned it a few times, the SQQQs, that's the ProShare Ultra Short. And if you remember, we mentioned when the Nasdaq is selling, this ETF is moving the opposite direction. So if we should see continuation in equity markets, especially in the technology and Nasdaq index, we might see continuation in the SQQQs ETFs. It's volatile. Please prepare yourself, measure your risks. But this is something that traders like to watch when the sell-off in the market happens. Okay, I wish everyone a successful week. Also enjoy the weekend, get some energy, prepare yourself for the upcoming week. Lots of success, all the best, and we should be back next Sunday. Take care, all the best.